anyway, let's move on now to Donald Trump. He gave a huge interview to Tucker Carlson this week, a whole hour of time, and a lot of it was very dark and very grim. And I played a bit at the top of the show where he gave a very stark warning about nuclear weapons and a potential nuclear warming, he called it. Mick, what did you make of the way Donald Trump laid out the world situation, and especially that very apocalyptic, dire threat that he kind of left hanging over everybody's heads?
Yeah, I saw that part of the. In fact, I saw the whole interview, and I remember seeing that part of the interview and going, "Okay, I've seen that before." So, James, I'm going to tell you something. You might not believe it, but this is the God's honest truth. That's a speech he's given 100 times. He has given that same sort of, nuclear weapons are so awful. They're so awful you can't even talk about them. He's given that presentation 100 times in the Oval Office. It's almost like, as a child of the Cold War, he's got this strange fascination with the power of nuclear weapons. I remember one time he was, Mick, you don't understand how powerful these things are. I'm like, President, I think I do. No, you don't. Only I do. It was really very strange. He's got a fascination with these things that I've never understood. But what you saw on Tucker the other night was that's Donald Trump being Donald Trump, because I've heard that speech many, many dozens of times before.
And now he's also suing Michael Cohen, his former attorney, who we've spoken about many times on this show, for a fairly nuclear sum, I guess you could say, about $500 million, claiming Cohen is spreading falsehoods. Now, Mick, how do you think this is going to play out?
I read somebody says, does anybody really take Donald Trump's civil lawsuits seriously anymore? The answer is no. Michael Cohen doesn't have any money. I think he's actually bankrupt, has been bankrupt, or is near bankruptcy. The guy was in jail for perjury, so suing him for $500 million is sort of like, it's what Donald Trump does to sort of take his mind off of other things. He'll call the lawyers in and say, sue Michael Cohen. And we're like, for what? And they're like, but it doesn't mean different, sue him for something. And that's how you get these lawsuits. I don't think anybody takes this particular one very seriously. Similarly, not a lot of folks take the charges of the Manhattan DA seriously. There's a lot of abuse of the court system right now within American politics, and Trump suing Cohen is just another example of the same thing.
Yeah, indeed. I love this idea. Just, I'm bored. Let's go sue somebody. Do you want to play golf, sir? No, let's go sue somebody.